This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Hello and welcome to the iRacing Esports Network and the BSR MX5 Pro Series presented by Apex Racing TV. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick and today I'm joined alongside by Marco Barboneer for these four 15-minute races around this legendary Snetterton 300 circuit. I will just clarify, I am slightly biased towards this circuit. Lived just 20 miles away in the fields of Norfolk. This circuit is set, and Marco, it's a pretty good circuit for these MX5s. It's a bit inappropriate, I'd say, for larger cars like GTs and prototypes, but for these small MX5 cars, I think it's just the right fit.
I absolutely agree with you. Hello Sam, hello everyone. Fresh from the Amateur Cup round that we had on Apex Racing TV last night. I can tell you that the racing was absolutely fantastic. Some of these drivers were there last night, and so they had some nice preparation. I also think we will have a night race in race 4, because race 3 last night was in the dark, but it was like a sunset with a boatload of clouds, so you didn't have the scary looking iRacing night in this kind of tracks, but it was quite cool, I might add. So looking forward to that. Usually when we have a night race in the Monday, it's usually the same here in the Pro Series, and I'm so happy to be back here on the iRacing Esports Network. Hello to all of our viewers watching us. We are just in the closing stages of qualifying, and we are just waiting for the session to switch over. I was talking last night, Sam. It is a deceptively long lap around here. The quicker drivers will lap around 2 minutes 5, 2 minutes 6. It doesn't seem at first, because this is a club track, and but in this 300 version it can be quite long, and so these 15-minute races will have not a lot of laps in them.
Yes, and after race 1, then rather than having 15-minute timer, they will have a set amount of laps. So yeah, you're absolutely right, Marco. Not too many laps for these drivers to complete. A couple of minutes of gridding up. The qualifying is in, and pole position is Jason Cooper. The top two in the championship, Cooper and Ashton, and they are in that position in the championship as well. Cooper 1/1000th ahead of Jack Ashton. Brian Holmes starts in third place, and it's Ashley Beard. Jamie Ayres, Adam McNally, Nars Carstensen, Alex Cherney, Steve Hefford, and David Hampson running out the top 10. There's Adam Delmont, Kip Stevens, Nick McKern, Ben Sharp, Max Wright, Cesar Rizzo, Martin Sampson, Craig Cameron, Ben Mears, Stuart Dick, Pete Van Gool, Charles Kellyman, Adrian Hendy, David Ayres, and Michael Barry running out top 25. The rest of the drivers will go through for you now. By the way, the top AM driver is Ben Sharp, by the way, in 14th place. Second place there is Max Wright and also Martin Sampson. Quickly, just we'll mention the championship. Luke Cooper is leading the championship ahead of Jack Ashton. Nick McKern and Luke Cooper are third and fourth in the AM standings. Ursum leads with Mears and Malcolm in second and third positions. So just a few more drivers to get onto the grid. Currently, Max Wright isn't on the grid. He's starting in a second position out of the amateur drivers. So it would be a great shame if he couldn't make it, but we've still got another 30 seconds or so to get onto the grid. And of course, also for the teams as well, this could be a very important race. We're over halfway through the season, and we're here at Snetterton. Who is going to take it? It's Jason Cooper from the pole position. And away we go. Cooper off with a very poor start. I think Ashton's going to get alongside him and maybe even pull ahead going into turn 1. But which is the ideal line, the outside or the inside? You could see big issues going into turn 2. That's the very tight hairpin just after this called Montreal. As Cooper stays on the inside. Ashton could be under pressure now from Brian Holmes as well. He's got to be very careful already. The field separating a little bit so far. And that should reduce the risk of an incident. And they have seemingly got through that relatively cleanly. Just a couple of drivers maybe dropping down the field. I think David Ayres with a little bit of a poor start further down the order. But you can see already into single file the top 7 drivers or so. And it's Cooper who resisted that attack early on. But I imagine it's not going to be easy these next 14 minutes for him.
Yeah, absolutely. We are used, of course, to very, very tight packs of cars and very hard to get away as we see the drivers using all of the track. You can be quite, expand your racing line quite a bit around here. The only danger is you cannot do it too much, especially in this particular corner that brings us back to the backstretch, because if you go too much on the grass, the car can spin towards the inside wall, and that is not ideal. Also, you can get a big slowdown there. Have to be super careful. And now, of course, my favorite corner of this track, this very weird chicane, which is not really a chicane, which is 2 corners, I think, glued together, will catch a lot of drivers off guard.
As Beard, I think, getting the, or is he defending at the moment? Having to just miss the apex there to leave room for the driver there. That was Ashley Beard then defending on the SimLab car just behind you. Almost loses the position. Still top 7, haven't changed position so far. The Steve Hefford has gained a position up into 8th. But really, also Stephen Baxter up 11 places. He's gone from 36th to 25th. And in a sea of drivers where it's maybe 1 or 2 positions gained, and he's really the odd one out. A terrific start for the driver who now sits in 15th place, as we see an off car number 24. And that was Ben Sharp, who was leading the AM drivers. Not anymore. Max Wright gets ahead, and Sharp with a mistake coming out of Murray's, and that's really cost him poorly there. Now, going back after losing the position on the opening lap, Alex Cherney gets past Steve Hefford. Hefford tries to stick it around the outside, but I think he's got to be more concerned about the drivers behind. And that is nicely done there from Alex Cherney. So back up into 8th place. And now the top 13 are exactly how they started. Not a usual occurrence in this series, Mark.
Yeah, let's put it on the graphics to see. Absolutely crazy. You are absolutely right. Doesn't happen very often. It's going to change very soon, I think, as they are once again battling into Agostini side by side. As they now get... I think that Agostini is named after Giacomo Agostini, the very famous Italian motorcycle, multiple times world champion, I would guess. I'm not... None other famous racing Agostini comes into mind, so maybe it's dedicated to him.
And you would know, assuming that it's an Italian name.
Yeah. He was basically Valentino Rossi before Valentino Rossi, super popular rider, champion in many categories back in the days. So I think Rossi's agent for quite a bit.
Okay. Currently the top 3, super close, pulling away from Ashley Beard. And 4th as Beard really misjudged that one, and going into bomb hole. He's going to lose that position. And Cherney as well, who just got up into 8th place, and he's down into 10th place now. Gets overtaken by Hefford and Hampson. So we are starting to see some changes of position now. A few mistakes early on from these drivers. We saw one from Ben Sharp, which yielded the race lead. And now some of the front runners as well making mistakes, but Cherney seems to have gathered himself back up. Once again, Beard under big pressure. So Beard has actually been overtaken by Ayres, of course, after that mistake. And a little bit of bump drafting perhaps down the pit straight. Didn't feel like going for the move there. Quite a good tactic, to be fair, to excite drivers. That was McNally pushing along Beard. As Cooper having to go defensive against Ashton. That's really the first attack since the first corner that Jack Ashton has made. Certainly possibilities for him. There's a few decent length straights, and of course in these guys have got pretty much no aero wake. So he can kind of take his time and have a few big braking zones. One of them going into Agostini. But Cooper just putting his car in the middle of the circuit, no way through for the Excite iRacing driver.
Yes, as basically Cooper now using all of the track and even a bit more to defend from Ashton. Let's go on board with him.
You can see even in these Mazdas, the circuit is pretty narrow. It's difficult to get two cars side by side around this part of the circuit. This part of the circuit was added in about 2011, 2012, I think. And yeah, it does add pretty much half the corners to the circuit as Ashton, once again, going to go for me. This is where the track really opens up. And this is where you start to really generate some speed. Ashton to the outside. If you can hang it round the outside here, then he's going to have the inside for the next corner. Jack Ashton goes for it. Is he going to lose the car? He gets a four-wheel drift there, and he couldn't quite keep the pace up on the outside. And now here comes Brian Holmes going down the inside, but Holmes backs out of it. They're going to work together, seeing that they are teammates. But this battling for the top two is actually inviting other drivers involved as well. Jamie S catching up to these guys in 4th place.
Yeah, another two Excite cars in Beard and McNally are also starting to creep into the fight for the podium, as we see everyone going very, very wide there, as lap 4 will start right now. Max Wright is still your leader in the amateurs, by the way, after getting the lead a couple of laps ago from Sharp after Sharp made that mistake coming out of the final corner. Everyone goes wide.
That's the new racing line, seemingly. They do have an instant limit.
Yeah, 20.
Of 20, you're absolutely right, Marco. So
I only know because I've broke that limit many times when I was racing in this series.
Fair enough. So, yeah, so Cooper actually pulls away a little bit. The issue for Charlie Summers, by the way, he's usually one of the front runners. We're having a bit of a difficulty out there today. Summers is in, he's in 15th in the championship, but yeah, not having a good time with it today. So he's dropped down the, sorry, well, actually, no, he gained loads of places, I think, but he's dropped a few. He's still up 11 places from his start. Stephen Baxter's up 16 places from his starts. A couple of big games. Josh Rayfield up 14, as Sharp is having to go defensive now against Sampson. So the former leader. And sorry, Sharp's kind of trying to get past Rizzo. Apologies.
Yeah,
And,
basically the fight between Wright and Sharp was now head-to-head, but now Rizzo jumped in the middle of these two. This is going to invite, I think, Samson back into the fight for the amateur leader Max Wright. You see, not that far ahead, even though he's enjoying the slipstream from Kip Stevens, who just went past him.
So Beard falling into the clutches of McNally now. But you imagine they're going to engineer this to lose the team as little time as possible. Currently in Excite Racing, 2, 3, 5, 6. And they want to maintain that to the end of the race. It really does help when you've got a bit of a monopoly like that. But here comes Holmes past Ashton. So the driver in quite far down the championship, Brian Holmes, down in 12th place in the championship, gets past the 2nd place in the championship, Jack Ashton.
These guys need to be so careful, Sam, of using all the... I mean, I know these are pro drivers, they know what they are doing, but each time I see them extend the track limits there, this is not Circuit of the Americas, you don't have tarmac there. That's the dreadful British grass, so, I mean, they have to be careful, because one of these laps they will risk, I think, maybe too much. Not want to jinx them, of course, but... this is going to be very interesting, as you know, you can be lucky once, twice, maybe the third time you end up in the wall. So gotta be super careful, as still with only 5 minutes left, the pack is really, really close, and we haven't seen many big accidents, which is a testament to how nicely these drivers are going around, respecting each other in the battles.
Yeah, plenty of runoff here. I say runoff, you know, grass. Some of these parts around this circuit, there's not actually barriers. It's just fields, and iRacing have made imaginary barriers. I'm pretty sure if you go far enough down turn 1, you will eventually crash into my house. But instead, iRacing puts up an invisible wall as now Ashton plays in on his teammate and seemingly struggling to pull away at the moment is Brian Holmes, but that was a good corner, carrying a lot of speed into that one. Of course, anyone who was watching the World GT on the iRacing Esports Network yesterday would have seen the walls there, and these drivers able to check his send a little bit. We either need walls or that drag strip that they had at the Hockenheim race outside of turn 16. You know, imagine that round here. You would be off into Suffolk if you made a mistake. And I realise 99% of viewers will not understand that reference, but trust me, anyone who lives in Norfolk will be will appreciate that wit.
You'll end up into Ipswich, basically.
Yeah. Oh, well done. I don't know how you know that.
Football.
Oh, of course, yeah. the classic derby, the proper English derby.
The old farm, yes.
Yes. Hampson versus Cherney. And Cherney, he's had a bit of a tough race, and here he is. He's going to lose another position to Nick McKern, who, of course, is one of the front runners in the championship. Not having a great time, but
careful
and
there.
that could be a bit problematic for him. But in the end, it's Cherney who is super unlucky. Gets puts off into the wall, and Dave Hampson there with a self spin under not much pressure, and just seemed to lose the rear on traction.
Seemed very much like so, and this basically created then a rift in that particular section, and bad race for Alex Cherney. Let's focus on this fight. I think the top 5, top 8 are the guys that will battle it out until the end, and of course there's still the fight for the amateur lead, which is still in the hands of Max Wright. A bit sad for Hampson, because I don't know how many people remember this, but 888 was my number when I used to race in this series. I still have to serve 4 pit lane starts, by the way, in the penalty sheet from a couple of seasons ago. After that, I said, it's better to commentate, because, yeah. Let's say after my less than stellar performance in the Phoenix Oval, I decided to not race anymore, and for good reasons. But I raced in here, in this track, exactly 1 year ago and 1 week to this date.
Was it 200 or 300?
It was 300. It was 300.
Ah, okay.
In the in-race chat here in our Discord, you can see a still image from the 3rd or 4th race of the day.
Yes, I did see that. Yeah, not pretty, let's say. Here comes Ez. He's going to go to the inside of Brian Holmes. So Ashton got back past Holmes, and now Ez going go past Holmes as well. Holmes was looking so strong earlier on, really keeping up with the top 2 with ease, staying in the slipstream. But it looks like he's going to lose that one going into Montreal. And Jamie Ez, who started down in 5th position, he's having a really good time of it at the moment. Currently 7th in the championship is Ez, still with a small opportunity at the season win. There's no showdown in this series, as far as I'm aware. So it really does just come down to your points across all the races. As yeah, going a little bit wide was one of the drivers just in the background. You can see how spread out the drivers are. Very rare to see this in this series. And of course, if you think there's not that much action in this race one, trust me, when you see race 2 and race 3 and race 4, when we have 40-odd reverse grids, there's going to be a lot of action for that. So do stick with us. And to be fair, for the race lead, we've seen a very interesting battle. After Ashton seemed to be really struggling in the mid part of the race, all of a sudden he's the man on the charge and into that slipstream. And anyone who's raced this Mazda before knows that slipstream effect is really pivotal in this car. And you can see down this straight he's gained about 1.5 tenths of a second.
Yes, as at the same time we have Brian Holmes in here trying to settle the score with Jamie Ayres, but not going to work. A few weeks ago I commented on the BSRTC, and I called the progression of the BSR series race after race, slow descent into madness, and our colleague Woody said no, it's a very quick descent into madness, and he's absolutely right, because the intensity ramps up race after race. And this being the longest race night of them all in the BSR series, with 4 races, of course. And the more you go ahead, the more these drivers are thinking, I want to get a good result. I want to go home with a good result. As I think we had a very, very, very tight white flag. So this will be the final lap of the race. We had 7 laps last night in the amateur series, 8 just by inches in this one.
And that means that the next 3 races as well will be 8 laps long. So we've got side by side. Ayres trying to, Ayres trying to defend from Holmes. So Holmes now back on the charge, shows how much that slipstream really does help you, because it's kind of a medium length straight and then a corner, and that's pretty much, there's not really many complexes necessarily around this circuit, and so you can constantly be tugging yourself back up to the driver behind. Cooper under big pressure now from Ashton. Ashton's been closing in for about 5 laps now, or maybe not that many, but 3 laps. And finally, he's within striking distance. He's got half a lap to get it done. And probably over these next couple of corners is his best chance. We saw him on the last lap gaining by about 1.5 tenths of a second down this straight. And he's currently quarter of a second behind, maybe even 3 tenths. But now he'll start gaining as we are halfway down the back straight. You know what? Cooper might just have this one covered, and after this corner there's not really any opportunity to get the move unless you can go for a real surprise move into bomb hole. And Cooper seems to have it covered. Almost contact between 3rd and 4th. Still Ayres hangs on against Holmes, and that's going to be the end of that one. Holmes really slow on the outside of that corner, but he should hang on to 4th place. Cooper though, 2 tenths of a second ahead, that's all he needs, and these might be crucial points to extend his championship lead. The championship leader is going to beat 2nd in the championship as they have the run to the line. The gap's decreasing all the while, but it's not going to be enough for Jack Ashton. It is going to be enough for Jason Cooper, and he wins race 1 at Snetterton. Ayres will get 3rd position, Holmes in 4th. Almost got overtaken by Beard after a late mistake. We're going to see very close between McCarran and Delmont, but McCarran just about crossed the line there. Right the top of the AM drivers with a very impressive 11th place overall. Sharp will be 2nd in the AM drivers. And just looking a little bit further down, Martin Sampson will be 3rd. Issue for Dave Hampson right at the end of the race. He has had a couple of issues. I believe he was the driver who spun at Montreal earlier on. And he also had a poor run to the line coming out of Murray's. Very close between Max Bohr, Dave Hampson, and Scott Malcolm. They're about 0.04 of a second between them, as very slow across the line as well is
Craig Jones.
Yes.
Something wrong with Craig's car. He's maybe out of fuel, I would imagine, caught out by this tricky. Maybe he raced last night in the amateur series. Maybe he was a little bit surprised by the pace they had at the front. But you know, first and second place didn't fight it out too much. So they didn't slow themselves up and so or down. So they could basically go at full speed all race long. As we are waiting for one of the biggest, losers of this race, Alex Czerny, 32 spots lost from his starting position. He will round up the proceedings in P40, so certainly one of the drivers that could bounce back, will look to bounce back in race 2. And that was it, as we are about to give you the race results for this first race of the night. And just a second, because we have, I love that Alex saves his project files for his 500 screens, and then when I open it, I have one single screen stretched upon miles of pixels.
Whilst you're doing that, I'll go through some of the incidents that drivers accumulated. Rob Graham got disqualified, by the way, with 19 incidents. Also, you had Adrian Hendy on 14. Craig Jones got 15. Josh Rayfield got 16. Dave Hampson actually got disqualified then. So he got 9. Oh, sorry, no, apologies, it's 20, but I'm thinking of the official side. So no one actually got disqualified. But Graham and Hampson were very close on 19. Kind of shows how tight they were. Ashton, despite going wide at turn 1, pretty much every lap, only accumulated 7, which is a bit surprising. Marco, do we have the results on screen now?
We have them.
Awesome. Well, it's Jason Cooper then, winning out 1/10 of a second over Jack Ashton. Third place was Jamie Ayres with fourth Brian Holmes, and then it was Ashley Beard, Adam McNally, Steve Hefford, Niles Gustafson, Nick McKern, and Adam Darmont rounding out the top 10. Max Wright was top of the drivers. Kip Stevens was in 12th place overall. Then was Ben Sharp, second place in the drivers. And then Cesar Rizzo, Steve Baxter, Stuart Dick, Martin Sampson, Charlie Summers, Ben Mears, James McRitchie, David Ayres, Adrian Hendy, Max Bohr, David Hampson, who was one incident away from getting disqualified, Scott Malcolm, Roots Van Essen, Pete Van Gool, Billy Rose, Joe McDonald, Rob Graham, Ewan Ersum, Craig Cameron, Liam Silkston, Andy Maxwell, Steve Cooley, Christian Brown, Craig Jones, Josh Rayfield, Steve Hansford, and Alex Chain. Those were the drivers on the lead lap. Viv Kernel was 1 lap down, so all of those top 41 drivers will be eligible for the reverse grid. The drivers who won't be reversed because they retired were Charles Kellyman, Carl Yacolet, and Michael Barry. So, Marco, it's the best time of the evening, and you're actually going to have 8 reverse grid wheels. Oh, sorry, 6 reverse grid wheels in 2 days. I mean, that's heaven, pretty much.
It's fantastic, and this is my favorite series to do. I think because you have 3 reverse grids, to sort out all night long, and so the reverse grid wheel for race 1, well, for race 2, should be on your screen right now. And yes, let's roll it. It is going to be 30-30, which means your pole sitter is Rob Graham for the second race of the day. Joe McDonald will start in second from the United States, and then we are going to have Billy Rose, Peter Van Kool, and Footer Van Essen. This will be your top 5 for race 2.
Yes, so Rob Graham, who accumulated 19 incidents and very nearly got disqualified, he'll be on pole position, only beat Ewan Erston as well by 1/10 of a second. So well, he should get a lottery ticket. I'm not sure if there's any lotteries in the UK on a Tuesday, but a scratch card, anything like that, he should invest in that certainly. He'll be on pole position for race 2. Hopefully you'll join us then in about 20 minutes time. See you then.
inside wall. Gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing!
Lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is gonna touch in. Pit crash sideways. What a save!
Looks to the outside, and Tronke goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
Trying this contact though. Slide left to the racetrack. Chris Benner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the Parabolka. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cutback here. Get the run out the Parabolka. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schumacher, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
Of the best sim racers, $100,000 on the line. Who will rise to the challenge? This is the most competitive and sought after season in iRacing World Championship history. This is where legends are made.
Welcome back to the BSR MX5 Pro Series on the iRacing Esports Network, presented by Apex Racing TV. We are just preparing for race 4 of the evening, the final race of the evening, and on pole position for race 4 of the evening is Steve Cooley. Max Wright starts in second place with James McRitchie in third, then it's David Ayres, Andy Maxwell, Liam Silkston, Scott Malcolm, Charles Kellyman, Christian Brown, and Kip Steves. That's the top 10. We saw another big reverse grid in that race 3, and we are about to get underway. So it's Steve Cooley from the pole position, Max Wright alongside him, and we are away for race 4 at Snetterton. Fantastic start straight away for Max Wright. He's going to be challenging going into turn 1. Good slipstream as well for James McRitchie. He might go to the inside. We've got 3 wide for the lead straight away. McRitchie, will he stick with it down the inside? No, he backs out. So in the end, contact over between the top 2, and they spin each other out of contention. Fortunately, not many other drivers get involved. There was just one other, maybe Silkston. You're absolutely right. But the top 2 hitting one another in turn 1. It leaves the door wide open for James McRitchie. Side by side just behind for David Ayres. Great start for Scott Malcolm. He's up 4 places so far. Christian Brown is up 5 places. But McRitchie sprinting away, and he's got a decent chance maybe at this race victory as long as he can keep it together. Oh, another big crash behind.
Yes, they are crashing left and right and center. Big pile up that was we were fearing. I cannot even begin to oh, big hit for Max Wright there. Not even begin to comprehend the amount of cars involved in that. That really destroyed a big portion of the field, including several amateurs, I'm afraid to say. As you can see, the top 20 is now almost completely blue. And the happiest driver of them all, James McRitchie, was able to, get the lead at the start, thanks to the contact between the first two cars, and now running away as he has Ayres and Malcolm behind him, then Brown, Kellyman, Efford, Maxwell, Stevens, Cherney, and rounding up the top 10 was Ben Muse, or still is Ben Muse.
Muse already with a AM win so far today. He's currently in 5th place out of the AM drivers, but still doing well in the overall standings. Behind him, Bohr and Dick going at it. Issues as well for Jason Cooper. He got caught up in that one. That's quite big for the championship. Of course, championship seems to be a two-way battle between Ashton and Cooper. So the fact that Cooper got knocked down there gives a little bit of points to Jack Ashton. Cooper will be leading coming out of this round, but certainly any points that Jack can gain will be useful. He's already making his way back up through the field, though, is Jason Cooper, the number 1 car. But yeah, very good start actually for Ashton. He is up 9 places, up 17 places, Cesar Rizzo, 18 places for Ashley Beard. 18 places for Roots Van Essen and Michael Barry, as well as we see side by side there, Kip Stevens in with Andy Maxwell, Alex Journey, Ben Mears as well. A couple of the Automech drivers side by side there, but sorry, no, well, apologies, it wasn't Automech, it was Journey in the Swift Cooper Esports.
Quite similar liveries from behind.
Yes.
Especially because Cherny has the
Thank you,
orange
Martin.
highlights, you know, on his car.
Oh
As-
dear, that's a
oh
car in the
god,
middle of the
that's
track.
Scott Malcolm. And once again, the blimp comes... No, it doesn't help us, because Rizzo was involved as well, I think, even though he's back racing, but losing positions to Sharp, and now Billy Rose also coming in behind him, and he has some big damage to the right side of his car, as Stuart Dick is also enjoying a torrid time as they enter the Bentley Straight. As we were fearing this, Sam, the night is bringing a lot of chaos, and it's not over because Maxwell is out of the race. Maybe a contact with Jack Ashton, or maybe two separate crashes. No, separate crashes, I think. So there is Ashton, and we should see very soon.
Oh wow, that's a broken steering.
Yeah. Okay, so back live.
That's awful for Ashton then. Like I was saying before, opportunity to take some points out of Jason Cooper's championship lead, but it looks as though Ashton's going to have to get back to the pits, or well, they could probably finish the race. It's quite a long lap round here, so it's unlikely he's going to go multiple laps down. As long as you finish within 2 laps of the race leader, then you still score some points, and considering that there's a big drop off between about 40th place and not finishing, it's definitely worth finishing for all these drivers. I would know better than most, seeing that I won the BSRTC Winter Series by virtue of finishing 25 consecutive races. Other drivers, by the way, were struggling to finish 2 consecutive races, and that very much got me the championship win. I don't bring that up enough, I feel. I mean, it's my one achievement, along with Sebring winning that in Daytona. But no, yeah, I roughly know what I'm
Also, I think the only driver in history to win the overall and the amateur title in the same season. So...
And the only driver to have a 100% win record in the BSR leagues that they've entered. I've entered one, and I've won one, and I'm not going to enter another one ever again.
Yes, but did you ever accumulate as many penalty points as I did in one round in Phoenix?
No, I didn't, unfortunately. You'll keep that record for a while, Mark, I'm sure.
To each their own. Oh, Kip Cooper Stevens is off, and which is not ideal as he's losing some time. McRitchie looking good at the front, 3.5 seconds over Steve Efford, and we have the amateur battle. It's Ayers and Kellyman. Then Cherney is in 5th, and Stevens, as we switch back to Charlie Summers, trying, well, to use an interesting line. There is Stuart Dick in the 61, loses the position to Summers. Also here comes Ben Sharp, coming off of a great race. And Sharp seems like he will have to wait a bit more if he wants to try and attack the 61. Dick, once again, very aggressive on the curbs, runs wide, picks up the 1X as we enter the 4th lap out of 8. So halfway mark of the final race of the night. Dick defending on the inside very aggressively, and he should be able to stay in front, whilst Sharp might have to maybe try to dive on the inside here at the hairpin, but I don't think he will have enough space.
Yeah, he's kind of just stuck on the outside at the moment. And actually Beard gets involved in this one up 25 places for Beard. So down in 29th place, really suffered from that reverse grid, but has done very well since then. And here he goes, early on the power. It's what he got to be through that corner. But not picking up the slipstream, and now the 24 car on his outside. It's doing very well. That camera, I mean, that is a bad camera. I mean, I couldn't see anything from that, but there you go. I think he made the move, didn't he? Beard? Yep.
Yeah, he
26
did. No, he
bases
didn't.
ga- Oh no, what?
He
What's
got
going
passed
on here?
again.
Sharp coming back.
Okay, we'll come to those guys very soon because we have a side-by-side action for fourth. Czerny trying to pass Kellyman. So this is done, and back to this other fight.
Also pretty close between, Shane getting that one done. Pretty close between Summers there and Delmont. Summers getting past Delmont there. Beard and Sharp and Rizzo now getting by on this one. Could see Rizzo back up there, 21 places gained for him. He's had a bit of a difficult day. Really had a good chance at winning race 3, wasn't it? It was the last race where he was the top running pro driver in the early stages. Was running in about 6th place, had 5 amateur drivers ahead of him. And, it took Bales half a lap into the race when he had a spin, really entered his chances. Axe Cherney now up a place past David Ayres, so it's now a Pro 1, 2, 3. But Ayres still leading the way out of the amateurs with Kellyman always there or thereabouts is Charles in 2nd place. And Steve is now catching up. So it's kind of a bit of an odd one, this, Marco, because I wouldn't say many of the top drivers have really infiltrated this, and some quite large gaps as well. We haven't got that big kind of train that we usually get from about 5th down to 20th position.
Yeah, I think that if Czerny now can get a little bit of clean air, I think he can really maybe try and go. I mean, there's not a lot of time, granted, but I think he has the pace to go and maybe try to catch effort. I don't know about McRitchie, as this fight between Dick Sharp and Beard continues, as there is a contact a bit too overambitious, I think, there from Ben Sharp. He really threw the car on the inside of the corner, was all sorts of sideways. And now the 444 of Billy Rose almost joining him on the sidelines, but Rose saves the car, brings it into 4th place, in 3rd place, sorry, of the amateur race, and now fencing his chances against the pro driver Adam McNally. Here comes Sharp, who has really been very aggressive in this race, as here we go again. Side by side, door banging, why not? It's the final race of the night, who cares? There's no race 5. Also, back at the front, we switch very quickly because Ayres, Kellyman and Stevens are in a fight. And Ashley Beard, sorry, Ben Sharp gets the position back on his opponent.
It's been a long evening. You've seen a lot of Masters in the last
and a lot of
days.
GT3s as well, so...
Yes. So yeah, Ayres at the front of this one, but you feel as like this is just a matter of time until all these drivers get past him. First up, this is for the AM lead. Charles Kellyman takes the lead out of the AM drivers. There goes Stevens, early apex. I don't think it was a move necessarily, but certainly straight away tries to get his car on the inside. He'll try to get the inside for Montreal now, and Stevens didn't go for the move that time. I thought that the driver ahead of Ayres was leaving himself a bit vulnerable, but Stevens stayed behind. Now Bohr just behind Stevens. I think he may have just got past Baxter. And now it's Stevens all of a sudden with the drivers queuing up behind him. Really have to go defensive into Agostini. Stevens up in about 4th position, or so, 5th position in the championship. Hasn't had a terrific last few rounds, but usually a very consistent driver. Is that an engine?
I think it's an engine there for
Baxter.
Baxter, I think, yeah.
Oh, it is a shame.
Let's listen.
Yeah, nothing that he did wrong.
Yeah, the unmistakable sound of an MX5 engine exploding.
And he won't score points as well.
No, he won't.
He finished 7 of the laps, and he's only finished 5. So
yeah, the rules are the same as the reverse. You need to be at the most 1 lap down to score the. And you are right. You score big points even if you finish way back. A few seasons ago, I think it was apart from your great example of yourself, but it was as Rizzo goes sideways. It was Scott Malcolm winning the amateur title by virtue of finishing, which is always a good thing. As Kellyman goes wide, Ers gets the jump, and here we go again. This time I think the pro drivers will swarm poor Charles Kellyman.
Yeah, so Ez leading the way out of. Did we see it? I thought Kellyman got past Ez early on, but
Yes.
yes, but
And Kellyman made a
Ez has
mistake
got
now.
back past.
So
Yeah, Bohr
it's been a long
then
night.
trying to get past Kellyman. He might have the inside for this next left-hander. Really commit to the move. You can see he's got a part of his car alongside, but really good speed around the outside there for Charles Kellyman. And still cannot cover that off. Now he can, actually. And Bohr might just have to back out of this one. You can see Stevens losing a little bit of time just ahead of these guys. They're much deeper on the brakes, all three of them, placing massive car lengths on the two cars ahead. And they got it stopped, to be fair. Borg holding off Ayres. Summers is now involved in this one. Jason Cooper, who I was saying how it was having a mare, getting caught up in that first lap wreck. He's up into 12th position now, is Cooper. So good recovery for him, and he's going to massively outscore Jack Ashton as well. So very important for his championship. Hopefully we'll have a chat with him, just as we did at Charlotte last week.
Summers has passed Bore on the straight as we move back to the front of this pack because, well, Stevens defending on Kellyman, and Kellyman at the same time defending from Jamie Ayres, as we are about to enter the final lap of the night. It has been a long night, and it will be the final lap, so one more chance for these drivers to settle their scores and improve their final position in this fourth race of the night.
Ez makes the move. Well, I don't think he quite needs to go that wide, to be fair, Jamie Ez, but he was making 100% sure that he displaced his rival there. It's that Kellyman just dropping back down. So Bohr, who had a bit of a bad lap that last time round, trying to get past Kellyman, but he's faced great difficulty in making that one. Here is Ashton, here's Beard and Cooper. And Beard will want to hold back Cooper as much as possible, try to help out his Excite Racing. Those two teams, Swift Cooper Esports and Excite iRacing, are the top two teams in the championship, but not too much resistance there put up by Ashton Beard. Cooper up into 11th place, and it could be even higher if these drivers come together right at the close. Still, Stevens really falling back into this pack. Contact amongst a few drivers, and Stevens going to be pushed out here. Through goes Jamie Ayres up into the top 5. Started in 25th place, but he's up into 5th position now. Stevens holds back Summers, and here comes Kellyman again. Bohr just behind. Delmonts and Cooper and Beard, I don't think are going to quite catch this one at the end of the race. You can just probably see them in the foreground there, but I don't think they're going to catch in time. Really, the position settled amongst the top 4 drivers. But it's still all going on down here. Summers under pressure from Kellyman. I doubt Kellyman's going to be able to come back at him, seeing that Summers seems to be the faster driver. And also side by side between Cooper getting past Delmont now. So another position gain from Cooper. Really good day this for him. 4 top 7 results. Hasn't been taught 4 top 7 results for James McRitchie, but it's going to be a race for victory for him. Easy for McRitchie in the end. Started in 3rd place, and he has capitalised fully on every opportunity, and he wins race 4 at Snetterton. We're going to see side by side across the line. Ayres versus Ayres. David versus Jamie. I think David Jamie Ayres beats David Ayres by 1/100th of a second. Ever so close between those two. Ayres still finishing David Ayres, that is, still finishes atop of the AM drivers. But McNally will finish in 18th place. Big gap back, 12 seconds back to Pete Van Gool.
Okay, so let's see what happened there at the start. Why not? Whilst all the other drivers are coming home. And let's see from the perspective of the driver who was in front, if I can find him. Apparently I can't. So this is from Steven Baxter's car. We have a clearer idea of the second pile-up that we've had, because I think Steven was involved. Sam, let's see from the chopper if we can have an idea of what happened there, where it started, who started it, if we can find. Oh no,
It's just behind.
it was
in fact,
behind,
so
yeah.
the one car, so Baxter missed a lucky there. Still didn't yield a fantastic result, I think, did Baxter after a decent first 3 races.
Also, was Steve Cooley, of course. How can I forget? One of the veterans of the series, especially the amateur series. And it was. Let's see from McRitchie's perspective. Why not?
I mean, this was very responsible driving, wasn't it, Marco? Because so easily he could have gone down the inside there, make it 3 wide. Instead, he just lets them take each other out. I'll have that one up into the lead.
Yeah. Silkstone nowhere to go. He went wide in the grass. So let's see if we can have live pictures of the race winner. No, he just towed back to the pits as I switched to him. Maybe he was doing some donuts. There's a lot of smoke there at the pit exit, so that must have been what was going on, as other drivers are enjoying, as the night now is really falling on the track, and we have to be very quick, because otherwise the tree will come and eat all of the Mazdas. I know he's very fond of them. Here we go, race results for race 4.
Yeah, James McRitchie wins out then, 3.3 seconds ahead of Steve Hefford. Alex Jenny rounding out the podium. Jamie Ayres finished in 4th place. Really good drive from him, from 35th on the grid. David Ayres in 5th. There's Kip Stevens, Charlie Summers, Charles Kellyman, Max Bohr, and Jason Cooper. Really good day for Cooper in the championship, despite a little bit of a struggling couple of final laps, but so no, he did well overall in that 4th race. There's Adam Delmont, Ashley Beard, Stuart Dick, Cesar Rizzo, Brian Holmes, Roots Van Essen, Ben Sharp, Adam McNally, Pete Van Gool, Martin Sampson in 20th. Then it was Billy Rose, Juran Ursum, who should maintain his AM championship lead. Steve Cooley, who started on pole, Josh Rayfield, Michael Barry, Steve Hansford, Scott Malcolm, Joe McDonald, Ben Mears, Niles Carstensen, David Hampson, Liam Silkston, Craig Jones, and then the retirees were Steve Baxter, Rob Graham, Rafe Cullinan, Jack Ashton, Andy Maxwell, Christian Brown, Nick McKern, Craig Cameron, Max Wright, and Carl Yakelet. 43 drivers in the end. Did anyone get disqualified in that last race? Charlie Summers was on 19 incidents. No one got disqualified. Congratulations to the drivers for not getting disqualified. We did see a few across the evening, but really just a couple significant ones. So interviews. I think we're going to have a chat with Adam McNally first. Adam, congratulations out there. I
Thank
think
you.
it may have been a podium. Was it in race 2? How did your race go overall?
Oh, it was a win in race 3.
Wins. Apologies.
No worries. It was a good race. Race 1, sat in 6th the whole way, just making sure no one got past for my teammates. Race 2, 24th to 5th in span. Race 3, 18th to 3rd by the end of lap 1. Couldn't believe it. Into first by halfway through lap 2 and just managed the gap from then. but I desperately needed that win for the showdown points, so more than happy with that. It's been a long time since I got a win. And race 4, just look at that, rear-ended twice, slowing down for a crash. My car was definitely not MX5 shape, but got it to the end, so all solid points for the night.
Yeah, definitely. How did that race 4 impact going through turn 4 affect you? What was your view of it?
I just come in and I saw a big check-up, so I got on the brakes and I got put from behind. There was a car in front, and I just got sandwiched between the middle. And the car was just lacking top speed and everything, just had no pace whatsoever. So it was basically a case of just getting it to the finish line. But I think we still got 18th, so still decent points.
And you were talking about before about the showdown qualification. Is that kind of your main aim, and how confident are you about achieving that?
Oh, well, it's look at the draw. Really, it depends on how many incidents you have. Get taken out of a few races, that's it. Showdown's over. But yeah, that's definitely the main focus now. Showdown, getting the team into the showdown, as many of our drivers as possible into the showdown, just to give us a better chance. And it's looking good so far.
Well, we certainly wish you the best of luck for that one. Adam, is there anyone you'd like to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, just the usual. You guys for the broadcast, Jamie and everybody behind the scenes who do all the hard work. To Excite Energy, our main sponsor. We've got Race Mentor, LuxSim 24. We have ASG UK, Motorsport Days Live, and the Pre or Premature Baby Foundation. And
Thanks
that's it. And obviously, our drivers, we put on a great show, especially race 1. Looking five of the top 11 positions out.
Well, congratulations, Adam, on that race win, and hopefully many more will follow. We'll see you in a week's
Right,
time.
thank you very much.
So that was Adam McNally. And Marco, are you okay to have a chat with Ben Mears?
Certainly, absolutely. Should be with us right now. Hello, Benjamin.
Hi guys, how are you doing?
Doing fine, doing fine. So let's begin. How was your night?
I finished 4, that's most important. Bit of bad luck in the last race, but I'm satisfied about the rest.
What is your opinion about this racetrack? Because some drivers really like it, especially for hot lapping. Others don't seem to like it very much. Especially because it's very flat and maybe there are not too many passing opportunity. What are your thoughts about this track?
Yeah, I was thinking the same. Like I would have rather driven the 200 one, because I prefer shorter ones with the Mazda.
Hmm.
But all in all, I pretty much like the track. So I mean, it's really nice to just be able to defend against some of the good guys as well, because you have the advantage of the track being so difficult to overtake. So I like that. But I mean, it goes both ways, you know.
Uh, I agree with you in the sense that I prefer the 200 layout. It is much better in my opinion. So, do you know where we are racing next? Because I knew, but I forgot.
Yes, you are asking the right person. We are racing at my home track, Zolder.
Oh, in the alternate layout, maybe I think also.
Yes,
See, I
just
made my
to
I made
throw
my
in some
homework.
spite. Yeah,
So,
nice.
well, what about that particular Because the only change, if I'm not mistaken, is that chicane there at the end of the track, no?
I would say,
Yeah, how much does it change the overall layout of the track?
let's say that's an extra suicide factor to the race, because the only thing you are doing there is basically lifting. Maybe if it's hot, you slightly tap the brakes. It's really tricky because if people want to go side by side, it's comparable going down the mountain through the dipper.
Hmm.
It's crazy. There's always one party that's gonna lose hard or crash, probably. So
Also,
that,
y-
yeah, sorry.
yeah, I saw many times in official series, I saw the drivers in the qualifying or in the first lap of the race. Since it's not very well signaled, sometimes you see
No,
drivers take the regular chicane.
I can remember last year somebody asking during practice or qualifying, like, oh, is this? Am I doing something wrong
I'm
here?
getting a slowdown, people say usually.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, well, actually, you're slower because you're taking the chicane, so I don't think you get a slowdown. You're just slower. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna love driving there. It's gonna be tight again, a bit of the same as here. It's difficult to pass, definitely going into the chicane. Yeah, it's gonna be exciting.
One more question about well, another championship, because September marks the start of the new season of the Sim Racers World GT3 Championship. Will you be racing there?
Most likely, yes. Most likely, I will be driving probably a Ferrari or maybe a Mercedes. But I will try my best to get in there for sure.
Awesome. Before we let you go, Ben, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you guys for streaming. I'd like to thank Automech Hill for providing me with a team. And I'd like to thank everybody for watching.
Thanks you very much. That was Ben News, and Ben, catch you next week then.
Thank you. Bye bye.
And Sam, I think that will wrap up our interviews for tonight. It has been quite an enjoyable night of racing, and yes, the action, of course, doesn't stop here, even though, sadly, tomorrow and Thursday we are both days off because, like we were saying, we were talking with Ben, Sim Racers World will be back in September, and BSRTC has an off day, so we are going to be back with you on Friday night at 7 GMT for the Racing Le Mans Series, Saturday at 13 GMT for the Sim Racers Asia F3 Championship, and finally on Sunday with the Aussie Mixed and Fixed GT Development Series. And then from Monday we will be back, with the MX5 amateurs, and of course here on the iRacing Esports Network with Sam Fitzpatrick, of course. World GT, no, World GT is on a break, right?
Oh, it is. Oh, what are we going to do with ourselves for the next week? Oh dear. Well, there's plenty of other events, at least on the iRacing Esports Network. Of course, certainly do give that a subscribe and click on the bell as well. Personally, I don't click on the bell. I don't really like notifications, but it does allow you to notice the live streams, which is very good on the iRacing Esports Network, because there is almost a live stream going on pretty much every time of day. Pretty much, there's some fantastic dirt oval and rallycross and prototype GT Mazda racing, of course, as well. So certainly do give it a subscribe. Also, like the video, and also check out our YouTube channel, Apex Racing TV, for more Mazda broadcasts and Kia Optima as well, and plenty of others as well. And to hear mine and Marco's voices some more. Who wouldn't want that? I thank you for tuning in. And yeah, we'll see you very soon. So for me and for Marco, we'll say goodbye, and we'll see you next time.